name is Nikki Finney, and I'm here tonight at the Heirs Property celebration of my father, Ernest A. Finney, Jr. And I am incredibly excited about the combination of celebrating justice, which I'm going to talk a little bit about in my remarks tonight, and also tying that in with what the Heirs Property organization is doing, because I think there's an absolute connection. I don't think we talk enough about the power of land, of owning land, and who controls land. And I know as a girl growing up in this state, I used to hear my elders talk all the time about own something and hold on to the land that we have and the land that we have our reunions on and things like that. And it kind of went in one ear, went out the other ear sometimes. But as I got older, I began to understand how powerful and important land ownership was and is. And so in celebration of what I've learned in my life about standing on property that used to belong to 2 or 3 or 4 generations of family a long time ago, and still having that in your possession. It's more than just physical ownership. It's an emotional connection there as well as a spiritual one. So I want to talk a little bit about that tonight, and I'm just glad that there's so many people coming under the umbrella of the Heirs Property organization to help folks hold on to something as precious as heirs property. And none of us can do this work by ourselves. It's one of the early things I learned when I stepped out into the world, is that you need to hook arms with good folks who are like-minded about the way the world should be going. And so my family is joyous to do that with Heirs Property tonight, and let the celebration begin.
My name is Nancy Bloodgood, and I'm an attorney in town. I knew about Heirs Property for several years before I really got involved after Hurricane Hugo. It wasn't until Hurricane Hugo that I realized that people who owned Heirs Property couldn't get federal aid to rebuild their houses. They couldn't get private loans from banks to rebuild their houses because they needed clear title. So for several years, a group of us worked to try to determine how we were going to get a handle on the problem. And from a lot of people, we heard that we couldn't do it, it's impossible, it's a horrible problem, you'll never fix it. And really looking back on it, and it's more than 20 years ago, I think it was a matter of a good combination of persistence and patience. And we were able to start the Center for Heirs Property and actually work with the families, which I think is a fascinating process, because conciliation, negotiation, those are not skills that are natural, they're learned. And I think they're really hard in a family setting compared to when you have strangers trying to get them together. So I'm real proud of the way that the center learned to get families to trust each other and to work with each other and to have a plan and to set goals for their property.
Hi, I am Jenny Stevens, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Executive Director of the Center for Heirs Property Preservation. We are a nonprofit located in Charleston, South Carolina, but we serve 6 counties along the coast, and those counties are Berkeley, Beaufort, Charleston, Colleton, Dorchester, and Georgetown counties. And the service we provide, of course, is aligned with our mission, which is to protect heirs property and to promote its sustainable use so that low-wealth families can reap some economic benefit from owning their land, and while yet maintaining ownership. And we do this in 3 ways, 3 strategies, I should say. It's prevention, resolution, and land utilization. In our prevention bucket, it's all about making sure that the heirs property isn't lost, and we decrease the growth of heirs property. And we do that providing the services of legal community education seminars. wills clinics that we actually go out in the community and we have the assistance of for-profit attorneys, and we draft wills simple wills on site for community members. And last but not least, we also will probate the estate, your loved one's estate, if land is the primary asset.
I'm Mac Rhodes. I'm a board member, a new board member of the Center for Heirs Property Preservation. I think the program that the center is developing in regards to forested heirs property is very important. When someone owns property, they need to realize some income from it because there are expenses to owning property. And in rural areas, I think the best way to realize a periodic income is to grow and harvest timber and replant it for another crop. Is a great opportunity what the center is doing for rural heirs property owners to get involved in growing trees and forestry.
My name is Natalie Bluestein. I'm the president of the Charleston County Bar Association, and we are huge supporters of the Center for Heirs Property. In the time that it started, they've helped hundreds, if not thousands, of families reclaim land that's been in their families for generations, but which they've lost clear title to, often through no fault of the heirs. They just don't know what to do and how to go about it, and in the intervening generations, they've lost any kind of semblance of who had what title and when and how much acreage it was and all that kind of thing. They've been prey to nasty developers. They've been in horrible fights among relatives who are heirs, and the Center for Heirs Property is single-handedly straightening out all of those complicated situations that have been created. So our hats off to them. We fully support their efforts, and anything we can do to help, we certainly will continue to do.